All right, good morning and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Otherwise, welcome to the channel if it's the first time. I do a lot of Volvo repairs, especially on these mid-2000s vehicles, and I try to give a walkthrough. Sometimes it's more just for entertainment. Sometimes it is strictly informational. In this case, it's going to be a little bit of both. So today we're doing the belt service on this 2012 XC90. This is the 3.2 motor, but if it was a V70 or an S80 or an XC70, it could be the 3.0, the T6. This is the naturally aspirated, but it's going to be pretty much the same process if you're replacing the Serpentine belt. Although there are some things today, they're going to be XC90 specific because we still have that mechanical power steering pump. And on the S80s and the V70s and such, it becomes electronic after 09 or so. Anyway, I've already removed the airbox. I've skipped some steps here, but we're going to cover most of the important information. And as you can see, here's the belt. So if it's your first time doing this, this job is a little tricky, especially getting the power steering pump back on. But I'll show you, I wouldn't say it's a trick, but I'll show you a technique that, although it doesn't make it really easy, it does make it a little bit more foolproof because you don't want to mess that up. So we'll go over that. One thing, if you are doing this belt, you want to check. There is a one-way clutched pulley underneath the AC compressor that goes through a shaft to the alternator over here. And there's also a belt coupler right down here that goes to the alternator. Let's get a better view of that. So there's that belt coupler. So this coupler, as well as this belt with the idler pulley there and the tensioner, which we can't see yet, all do have a 10-year recommended service interval. And I would recommend sticking to that. I have seen these belts break. It creates a lot of carnage. You won't have your water pump working. You can overheat. So it's good to stay on top of that. So, like I was saying, one of the things you want to check when you're doing the service or before you do it is this belt. I should be able to push it down, but not back. That's the one-way clutch pulley doing its job. We can get into the reasons for that later, but right now let's just focus on what you want to look at when you're inspecting your car prior to doing this job. So if you can push it down, it means that the pulley down there, the one-way function is still working. If it's not, what will happen is you'll try to push it down and it will feel stuck. You'll try to push it back, it will feel stuck. It will feel the same both ways. In this case, it's spinning freely, but if it wasn't, we would need to, after we get the AC compressor off, remove another bracket to access that one-way clutched pulley. There's a special tool to remove it, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to move forward with the belt. But if you are doing your belt, that's something you want to inspect. And if you are on that 10-year interval, you want to seriously consider replacing that belt coupler in conjunction with your belt service. We're not going to do that today either. So let's just move forward with replacing the belt. So I've already removed the airbox. That's pretty easy. You just unfasten this clamp. Sometimes there's still a plastic nut here, usually not. You want to disconnect the battery so that you can disconnect the ECU connectors on top of the airbox. And once you've done that, you can lift the airbox out. After that, the next step is you want to remove this intake pipe. It's not really necessary, but it's going to give you a little bit more room. There's going to be one clamp here to hold this little resonator chamber, and there's going to be another clamp down at the bottom. Here's a really useful tool. If you own one of these cars, or Volvos in general, it's a really long clamp tool, and it has this flexible head. It makes jobs like this really easy. They may have this on Amazon. If I can find a link, I'll send it. I got this from a shop that closed down. So let's go ahead and get that intake pipe off. Okay, we got it out. This is the part that goes down to the throttle body. You can see here that here was this little resonator chamber. Once we loosened that clamp, we're able to fish it out because the whole pipe won't come out if it's still attached. Let's move on to the next step. There's two 8mm bolts to hold on this bracket for the power steering pump. Once you pull the reservoir up and out, you can remove that. And next we're going to work on removing this bracket. There's a 10mm here, a 10mm there, 13mm there. Let's get that out next. All right, we got that out. With that out of the way, the next step, we're going to get a 19mm open end wrench. Get it on the tensioner down here so we can put our new pin in. It's going to be a little hard to see. Let me get the wrench I'll give you guys a better view once it's done. Here's a better view. There's the tensioner down there with a 19mm wrench on it. I just push down on that wrench, and then there's a small hole. You stick that pin through. Your new tensioner will come with one of these pins. You can remove it, or you could use a small drill bit or whatever you have. Once you've done that and lock the tensioner in place, we can move on to beginning to remove the belt. So to move on to the next step, what we're going to do is unfasten the AC compressor. So we got 2 more 10mm. And we have some electrical connectors down here, here, and here. 2 of them. We're gonna get those off. And then we're gonna try to fold the AC compressor out of the way so we don't need to disconnect any of these lines or recover Freon. Now we're getting to the most time-consuming and difficult part of the job, just because access is so limited. We're gonna be removing the power steering pump. So there are 4 10mm bolts. There's one. Let me get something I can point with. Let's try this. So there's one right there. There's another one on the back side of the pump in a similar place. And then there's this little support bracket with a lower bolt here and an upper bolt up here. So I'll remove those 2 first, upper and lower, and then we'll work on the 2 ones down here. One thing to keep in mind is that it's easier to reach back over the back of the pump to get this lower 10mm bolt. And for these 2, having a small wrench or a short ratchet really helps. Once I get into it, I'll show which tools I'm using to get the best access. So I'm using my ratcheting flex head 10mm. That's the best way to snake it under here to get these 2 bolts, and it's still very limited access. My hand is pretty cramped. I'm fighting against these brake lines, but I am able to get them loose enough, and the goal is to get them loose enough I can get in there with my finger and just slacken it off, or just keep working it this way. Just take your time. There's really not a really good shortcut here. It's just those 2 bolts. Once we get them out, we'll move to the one in the back. So there's 2 different ways we could have done this. We could have removed the hoses from the power steering pump, this suction hose down here and this pressure hose here, so we could move the pump entirely back. But because that involves opening the system, dealing with leaks, dealing with refilling it, I think what's actually easier is just to get the spring out. And the spring is what lives between the water pump and the power steering pulley, and it's what drives the pulley. So what you need to do is just kind of pry it out. But if it's your first time, you want to make a mark of where it came out. There's a small hole in this black plastic on the pump, so you should use your paint marker and mark it, or take a picture, do whatever you have to do so you make sure you get it exactly where it came out, because that's important. So now once we've done that, there'll be room for us to get a little bit of a gap between the power steering pump pulley and the water pump flange, and we can get that belt out and get the new one. Okay, we were able to get the belt out between those 2, the pulley and the flange. So now we got to remove the tensioner. It's a 10mm bolt, and then we can get the belt out. In fact, I think we may actually be able to get it out how it is, but it'll be a little bit easier with the tensioner out. All right, the tensioner is now out. So now we can fish the belt out past that one-way pulley. And you can see here, this belt was really in need of replacement. When you get those cracks, that's your telltale sign when you're doing your inspection. You want to look for any cracks like this where the belt is passing over a pulley and it's under some tension. And that's your warning sign. So this could be the original belt. When you are shopping for your replacement belt and other parts, the tensioner or the idler, a recommendation is get a Gates belt. Gates is the OE manufacturer for these belts. A new belt from the factory will say Gates. It'll say Volvo. It'll also say Gates on it. I have a picture, but unfortunately I can't show the picture on my phone while I record. And for the tensioner and the pulley, I recommend the INA or Lightens. In fact, what's interesting is these components came out of an INA box, but they're marked Lightens, which makes me wonder if the 2 are maybe the same brand. You can see there it says INA, and right here it says Lightens. So that's a little bit odd, but I think it's because they share a manufacturer. So INA or Lightens is what you want to go for. So here's what's a little weird. This whole Lightens versus INA thing has been bothering me. I went back to my order. I did order INA. The boxes are INA. If we look at the picture for the INA, that's what I got. It even says Lightens on it right in their illustration. We look at the one marked Lightens. It also says Lightens. It has the same number. So I don't know if INA and Lightens are sharing manufacturing or what. Obviously, the price for the Lightens was actually less. So I paid $3 more for the same, well, rather, I paid $3 less for the same pulley. If I go to the tensioner, the Lightens and the INA is about a $15, $17 difference. The Lightens, yep, marked Lightens there on the bottom. The INA, can't tell. So I don't know. I hope that someone didn't return the cheaper parts in the boxes and then they got shipped to me. But either way, I've used Lightens before. I know Lightens is okay. I prefer the INA. I have a little more trust in that. Not for any good reason, just because that's what I've always used. Obviously, if INA is using Lightens, I'm sure the quality is very similar. That could be an interesting thing to research. Anyway, we're going to keep pushing. Just wanted to share that little bit of information. All right, we got the idler and the tensioner out. We're going to get those new components in. Okay, I got the belt around the one-way pulley. I got the belt through the gap between the power steering pump and the water pump. And then I've installed that spring, putting it back in the same hole as before with the spring in the same orientation. I believe the diameter is somewhat larger on one side, so you want to make sure you get that right. Now I'm going to get the tensioner and the idler in, and then I'll show you how to align the power steering pump to the water pump correctly. Use a mirror here. We can see we're looking at the back of the power steering pump, and you can see right there, there's that circular groove in the back of the power steering pump pulley. And right there in the center of the mirror is the hole that passes through to the front. And we can also see that black nub on the front of the power steering pump pulley, and that is where that hole is on the back, and that's where we want the spring to pass through. And so we'll be able to tell if it's in because we'll be able to see it poking out a little bit from the front. So let me go ahead and set that up for you. So right there, that's the part of the spring I'm talking about right here, close to my finger. That's the part that needs to poke through that plastic hole. There may be some variation among different models. I thought we would be able to see that metal spring poking through the front, through that small plastic nub there, but actually you can't. So you can really only feel it from the backside. If I feel that spring, I can feel it's inserted there. And you sort of gotta keep your eye on the other end of the spring because it will want to pop out, and you want to make sure it's still seated. And essentially what you do is once you have it more or less seated on both sides, you sort of just shove the whole pump forward, and if it's mounted correctly, it will sit flush. You'll kind of feel it fall into place. That's also why it comes with this small piece here. This is what helps align the water pump to the power steering pulley. This isn't actually essential to be in there. This is just to help guide it in. If you don't have this, it's okay because the power steering pump gets bolted up. It can only be in one position. This is just to help guide it in during this. I've done this so many times I don't even bother using that anymore. But if you haven't, it may be helpful. And this essentially just goes in the back of the power steering pump and it helps you guide it in. I find it a little frustrating because they fall out so easily. That's why I just don't even bother. I just use my fingers and my eyes and make sure that spring is installed. All right, it's a good thing I double checked my work because I actually had that spring installed backwards. The inner diameter towards the water pump is a little smaller than the outer diameter of the spring. So something wasn't feeling quite right when I was pushing it in. So I took it back out and looked at it and tried it the other way. And now I can see, I won't be able to show you, but I can see the spring is fully seated in that, yeah, it's so hard to see. There you can see it a little bit. It's fully seated down in that black plastic housing. And it's the same on both sides. There's a groove that the spring will sit in if it's mounted correctly. So I can use my mirror. I can see that it's mounted correctly on both sides. I can spin it and I don't hear any metallic twanging noises because the spring is binding or not in the right place. I can spin it freely a little bit, so I know I'm good there. So now I think I'm gonna start by installing the front bolt in that bracket and leave that rear one for last. Now, when you get to this step, dealing with that pump can be so frustrating. But one thing you want to make sure is that you have gotten your belt through the space between the water pump and the power steering pump, so your belt is ready to be installed. Believe it or not, I've gone through all that frustration of getting the pump in and aligned, only to find I forgot to get the belt in and had to do the whole thing over. I may have even done that twice in a row once, so always make sure your belt is through the pump before you install it, but also before you tighten it, just to make sure while you were doing whatever you were doing, the belt didn't come back out, you didn't remove it. Okay, we got the belt on, all the pulleys on. I just installed the AC compressor, got it back into position. Use that wrench again to take the tension off of the tensioner after I'd installed the 2 lower bolts, pulled the pin out. So now the belt has tension on it. It's spinning freely. I'm making sure of that. So now we're going to get some of those brackets back on, and we're just about finished with this service. All right, we got everything put back together. Really not much more to say. We'll start the car up, make sure we don't have any squeaks, no issues, and then we'll be done with the belt service on the XC90. Okay, there we go. Purring like a kitten. She's got the high idle right now, so it's a little noisy. Let's let it come down. So that's pretty much it for the belt service. I hope it was helpful. I know it's a little tricky with that power steering pump to explain everything and show all the angles to get access to it. I wish there was a better way, but unfortunately it's just something that you sort of have to do by feel. If you enjoy videos like this, like, share, leave a comment, and let me know, are there any other common Volvo repairs you've been looking for a good DIY guide or you need a little more information on? Leave a comment. I try to document jobs that I know are common jobs that people ask questions about. That's one of my goals with this channel. So if there's something else you'd like to see, let me know. Have a great day.